to another up close video. So today's one is another showing you some more Arteza products, and these are actually the 120 pen set of the EverBlend Art Markers. And I will tell you a bit more about them in 1 minute. I just want to tell you a couple of other things first before I jump into these products. So there's a couple of things I wanted to mention. Currently, from now until the 11th of April 2020, if you go over to the Arteza YouTube channel or click on the link to their video that will be in the description box below this video, they are currently running a competition where there'll be 2 winners, and they're both in the running to win a $100 gift voucher to the Arteza website. So you could buy, you could put it towards a larger item, or you could buy loads of their different products that they do, like buying sort of like the pack of 1 sketchbooks that they do, the smaller packs, maybe like the 24 pack of real brush pens, the gouache, the watercolours, you know, and really get yourself a selection if you won one of the vouchers. And you have to go to their video to enter, but I just wanted to tell you or let you know about the competition, because I mean, what a great competition to enter. Who wouldn't want to win $100 of vouchers? And all you have to do to enter is on their video, not this one, on their video, you have to leave a comment saying why you should get the prize. And you also need to make sure you're subscribed to the Arteza YouTube channel, because they will be announcing the winner in one of their videos. So if you're subscribed, you shouldn't miss the video where they announce the winners, and that's running from right now until the 11th of April 2020. So I'll make sure the link to the video is in the description, so you can easily get over to their channel and watch their giveaway video, and then leave your comment below their video to enter this lovely giveaway. And I also wanted to mention, I have another code again, so if you're interested in any of the Arteza products I show in this video, or any of the ones I've shown before, or just anything off of their website, you can use my affiliate links below the video, along with the code CRaFTi Potential 4, which I'll make sure is the absolute first thing in the description box, so you can easily copy and paste it, because I'm still not sure whether it's case sensitive or not, but I'll leave it as the first thing in the description, so all you have to do is copy and then paste it at the checkout when you've got everything in your basket on the Arteza website, and that will give you 10% off your order, and it's valid until the 30th of April 2020, so you've got a good month to make use of that code. I just think having an extra 10% off is so generous of Arteza to give me a 10% off code to pass on to you, but just a great way to save an extra few pennies or pounds on anything that you want to order to have a play with. And also, if this is the first of my videos that you're seeing, or maybe the first one of an Arteza video of mine that you're seeing, I actually have a playlist on my channel that's just called Arteza. If you go and have a look at that, you can see all of the other products that I have like done an up close look at over the past 6 or 7, no, maybe it's more than that now, probably like 8 or 9 months now. But yeah, there's loads of products that I've shown an up close look of, and you'll see them popping up in all of my videos as well. So I will get back on to showing you what this video is supposed to be. Okay, so let's get back to the Arteza Everblend Art Markers, and I'll put my discount code up here because this is one of those products that's really worth taking advantage of the 10% off. I think this set is £119.99 on the UK website, so it'll make it like £107 or £8 with the 10% off, so it's really, really worth taking advantage of that code if you can. And if you use the affiliate links below to order either these pens or anything else that you've seen on the website, really, you can use that 10% off code, and by using the links below the video you'll really be helping me out, because I'll get a small commission at no extra cost to you, so you can just place your order as usual, but you'll know that you'll also be helping me out make more videos and stuff, so I would really, really appreciate that. Okay, so you might remember, if you've been watching my videos for a while, it was probably about 8 months ago. It was one of the first products that Arteza ever sent me to have a play with, and it was the 60 set of Arteza Everblend markers. So I will make sure to have a link to it in the description below the video, and I'll try and put it in one of the little video links at the end of the video as well, to my previous Arteza up close video looking at the Everblend art markers, because I'm going to try and keep this video a little bit shorter, because I know I do ramble on a lot in these up close videos, because I've already said quite a lot about these markers in that first video, and that was my real first impression of them, and I still love them. Like that, I really wanted the 120 pen set because I really liked them. And as well as the 120 pen set, there is also 2 other sets which I haven't got, because I thought that the 2 other sets were the colours that are in this set plus the 60 original ones, but they're not. So the skin tone set and the grey tone sets are actually different colours to what's in this 120 pen set. So there are actually, I don't know, there must be about 150 colours altogether, because I know that there are some duplicates between the grey tones, but I think a lot of the skin tone set that they do are different colours to what's in this set as well. So I just wanted to say that, because I really thought that the skin tone, the grey markers and the 60 set equaled the 20 set, but that's not the case. So I wanted to let you know that, because if you love colouring images of people or little characters and stuff, I would suggest either going for the 60 set and the skin tones, or the 120 set and the skin tones, because a lot of the skin tone colours are exclusive to that set. So, but the other sets have the gorgeous, bright, vibrant colours in as well. So, yes. Later down the line, I might get the skin tone set as well to add to my collection. But anyway, this is the 120 marker set, and it comes in this gorgeous case, just like the 61 came in a case. The 121 comes in a case, but this case actually holds 144, so you've got 24 leftover slots in this one. And if you watch my first video, I actually went through loads of different products, or like different pens, different tools that you might want to take with you, and showed you exactly how well they fit into the slots as well. So if you have a look at that video, it lets you know all the different things that you can put in these cases other than just the Arteza Everblend art markers as well. So the packaging comes to you with this piece of cardboard around it. So it just tells you that the markers have a chisel tip, a fine tip, and the tips are replaceable. And when I did my last video, I think they had only just announced that they were going to have replaceable nibs, or it said it on the packaging, but they didn't actually have them yet. But they are available now. I think it's like $9.99 for a pack of them. I can't remember how many you get in a pack. It's probably 6 or 10 or something. But you can get a pack of just the bullet tips or just the chisel tips as well. So depending on which end of the marker you use the most, you can replace them. And also, they didn't do this before either. You can now buy the markers separately as well. They're not individual separately, but the colours are separate. You can buy 4 of one colour. So, for example, if you love doing your skin tones and stuff, or you love landscape pictures and you use a lot of sky and grass kind of colours, you could buy a full set of that specific blue or green or skin tone kind of a colour. So that, you know, you've got lots of extra pens when they start running out of ink. But they do last a long time, actually. I mean, I've had my ones, as I said, for about 8 months now, and none of them are showing any sign of drying up or anything. I don't always use them in my videos, because I often tend to reach for my Copics, but when I've been colouring on the sofa downstairs, my 60 pen set is like so good for sitting on the sofa and colouring, because you can just have the whole case open and none of the pens are going to roll onto the floor or anything. And I've actually been using the 120 pen set on the sofa as well, to colour in different images just while I'm watching telly too, which is really nice. To begin with, when I knew I was getting this 120 pen set, I was like, oh, I'm going to order another 72 pen case, which is the case that the 60 pens come in, because I was like, this is going to be way too clunky and everything, but it's not as long as I thought it was going to be. The 60 set is about this long. I thought this was going to be double, but they've actually made it deeper from front to back, so I think I might actually just keep them all in the 120 pen set and keep the other smaller case in case I invest in the skin tone or the grey tone markers as well, and then I can keep them in there. So let's open up the box. You do also get the carry strap, which I showed in the other video, and you could extend the handle out so you can go crossbody as well, which is great. You can really spread the weight of this case across your body as you're carrying it. And this case is also, it's also got the exact same fastening. Sorry, there's dog hairs all over this. It's got the same fastening of 2 of these red buckles on it, and then it also has the Velcro as well. And it still is collapsible like the original 60 pen set one as well. So you can take these 2 sides, you can open, well, yeah, both sides. I'll just take my swatches out of there. You can open both sides. Sorry, I'm knocking everything with this. It is a little bit cumbersome to have on your desk if you're going to open it out. But you can, it is possible to open the whole thing out, and this whole middle section comes out. So, sorry for my squeaky chair. That whole middle section comes out of there, and thinking about it now, depending on like where you were taking your supplies, what you were doing, what kind of holiday you might be going on and you want to take them with you, or you're just moving around to a different part of the house maybe and you want to take bits and pieces with you, you could probably even insert the inside of the smaller one into this. I've still got the smaller set here, so I'm going to show you a comparison of the colours actually. Let me see. Yeah, so you could easily put your smaller set inside the larger case if you wanted to, and then you'd have extra space either side of this and at the end as well to put whatever other supplies you might want to take with you, or just keep all in one place maybe. So that is good to know. Okay, so you can easily put that back in the middle. I'll just put this back together because it's taking up too much space on my desk and I keep knocking everything over. So I've got towers of stuff everywhere. I really do love that these cases do this though, having the collapsibility of them, or I've just been working out of it like this. I've actually just had it off to the side on my desk like I was using the 60 pen set before, but obviously just having this larger set. And I did think this would be too clumpy, but it's not actually. I mean, I currently have a stack of little pots to my side from a project that I was doing. If they weren't there, it wouldn't be too clumpy and in the way. But yeah, I've found working with them really, really nice, and I've put them all in rainbow order. So this is all 120 pens in here, putting them all into a rainbow order. And actually, let me show you a comparison with the smaller case. So this is the small case. That's the large case on my desk at the moment, and then this is the small case. I don't know, it's kind of difficult because my camera's a bit too close, but okay, actually if I lean that forward, that is how much longer this new case is. So it's not double the length like I thought it was. And if I put that on there and show you this angle, you can see how much wider the bigger case is. So it's basically like a couple rows of markers wider down here, rather than being too much longer than the smaller set. And like size wise, if I lie them down, I don't know if you can, it's kind of taking up too much room, but you can see the smaller case basically comes to the second buckle on the big case. And then if I get my colour swatches out and show you them. So this is the original 60 colours. So we've got all 4 of my little colour swatches. They're the original 60 colours. And then these, so instead of having 4, I've now got 9, almost full ones, of the new colours. So I will go through and show you, well actually, as a quick show of what colours are new. I mean, the 60 pen set had a really good selection of colours. There is a really lovely rainbow of colours, and you do have a few skin tones and darker browns and stuff as well. But I really do think they have really improved the colour selection by adding more into the 120 pen set. And if I show you these, this was just me, this is how I swatched the new pens and got them into my rainbow of that I had my old pens in. This is how I added them all into that. So I opened up the big case, took out all of the colours that were in the original 60 pen set and put them to one side. And then I went through all of the remaining colours, so these are the other 60 colours. I went through all of those remaining colours and I scribbled them out and I named them so that I could bring in my first rainbow, and then I could hold the new colour against these and go, okay, cherry is probably going to want to go near ruby red because they're quite a nice colour together. Red is also going to want to go near ruby red, and I did it like that. And then, so I didn't lose the order, I was actually putting them back in the right order in my case. So I then went back into the pile of the original 60 markers that I'd put to one side, pulled them out, and then added them in the right order into the case. And then once I'd done that, I created my new swatches with them all in that correct order. But just as a quick overview, you can see how many greys or grey tones. There are a lot of different ones that are like a brown grey, a blue grey, a purpley grey, a greeny grey, loads of different gorgeous greys in there. There's a few more yellow tones. There's some more, couple more light skin tones. There's a few more red tones, which makes the red blend perfectly now. There's a couple of more muted pink tones, which actually really match some of my favourite colours in the Copic line of pens as well. There's some more gorgeous pink tones. There's a couple more purples, which make the purples blend nicer as well. Then you have a few more blue colours, which again make some really good blue blends. There's more greens in different types of green tones as well. This spring green is like the best addition that they did because I really wanted more of a springy green to go with the lime green that was in the original set. And then there's also like peppermint and stuff as well. And then you have a nice little selection of browns added in as well. So those are all the new colours. That was just rough swatches. But if I hold them next to each other, you can see how the addition of those reds has really extended the selection. So this is sort of from, and you can see actually how I have, I think in my first video I said, oh, I could have put them in a slightly different order, like the neon pink could have been further up here. So you can see how I've actually moved some of the colours around in my colour selection as well. But you can just see how adding those in, you've got even better blends between the red tones in there as well. And you can organise your reds by a bluey red, a pinky red and an orangey red as well. And then we didn't get any more oranges, which is slightly annoying. But we have got quite a few more yellows. So some of these yellows, like the yellow ochre and the amber yellow, do work really nicely as kind of a light orange sort of a tone as well. But so you can see how we've got a few more yellows into this, and that gives a really gorgeous ombre of yellow. Then we have a few more greens in here too. Well, quite a few more greens, because it's, yeah, quite a lot of greens in here. But we've got the pear green and the green tea like we had before, but now they've introduced an olive green, which blends, oh no, they had the olive green before. I just put it in a different place, you see. Changing the way you put them really does give you different blending options, because I think that olive green goes really nice with the green tea, but I didn't really notice that before because the order I put them in. And then this green I really, really wanted because there wasn't another like yellowy green that was sort of a middle tone, because this is more of a bluey green, this apple. But now we have lime green, spring green, moss green. They blend perfectly together. Pale green and apple green. I could even bring in sea green to that mix as well, and then hunter green for even darker. And then we've got the gorgeous Cactus Forest Jungle that we had before, and now we've got a pepperminty kind of colour in there as well. We've also got a few more additions to the tealy colours. So we've got a dark teal to bring in deeper depth to your shading, and then we've also got a few more blue tones. So you've got a pale aqua that brings a nice middle shade between the Arctic blue and the sky blue, and I've tried to sort of add in some of the grey toned colours where I thought they would be good, because sometimes you do really want a nice light blue, so I've put that near the Carolina blue to show myself that I have a nice light blue to use there. So we've got loads of gorgeous blues there, and we now have even more of the purpley tones, which now I've just rearranged the order of them. You can see how that looks way better than how I had them organised before, and you've now got a couple of extra tones in there, like the Wisteria purple is really helping to blend between like the light lilac kind of colours and into the violet, and you've also got the orchid purple now as well. And then pink tones, you've also got a few more pink tones that are bringing in, they had a gorgeous pink blend before, but they're bringing in some more intermediate pink tones as well. And then down here, this Cherry Blossom and Aura Pink are like my favourite Copic colours of pinks. They're like the R81s to 85s, that kind of colour combination. So they're bringing in more more kind of muted colours really, rather than just all bright colours. You've got more muted colours. And then here, comparing this, you can see how before we only had a couple of skin tones, and I also had apricot that was over here, because I put that with the pinks before. But now we've got a really nice selection of more skin tones with a sort of peachy cheek kind of colour. And then brown wise, we've also got more browns in here, which is really lovely. So it's gone from having a warm brown, a greeny brown and a blacky brown, to now having lighter sandy colours and a bigger selection of greeny browns and a couple more warmy sort of brown colours, and then it goes through into a lot more different grey tones. And I tried to organise the greys a little bit, although you can just compare your swatches to your project to see what other colours or what colours are going to go really nicely with it as well. But you can see so many new greys compared to what we had before, and then I've also got sort of tealy dark grey kind of colours, and I decided to leave them in the grey kind of section because they're more muted colours compared to the brighter teal kind of colours, which I think is really lovely. I do really love these muted tones, and these tones actually match some of the Copics that I really do love using. And you've got a whole load of different types of greys now, so you can do more warm grey creatures or cool grey metalwork, or you know, that kind of stuff. You've really just got a lot bigger, obviously a lot bigger selection. You've got double the amount of pens, but I just wanted to go through and show you exactly where you're getting those new colours fitting in as well. I do kind of wish they had a couple more oranges rather than maybe as many yellows, but I still think this is a really lovely set of pens, and I think you've got a really good, especially with the 120 set, you've got a really good selection of colours now because you've got so many more greys and browns and stuff in there too. So I just wanted to go through all of those colours with you. Okay, so I hope I've given you enough information about all of the new 60 colours that are in the 120 pen set, and explaining about how the skin tone and grey tone sets aren't the same colours that are mixed in with the original 60. So I've got a few different bits and pieces that I wanted to share with you. Little bits and pieces that I've done, comparisons between things, and a couple of little test things that I was going to try and show you as well. So I'll show you this little test first. Let me just get a pen out because I've put them on the floor now. Let's just go with a red. I've got tomato red because it was one of the easiest ones to grab. So here, these are the Arteza Fineliners. They're the water-based ones. I showed these in, I think it was my either my watercolour video or my gouache video I showed these. But they're really, really lovely. I use them all the time. You probably noticed me using them in my videos, because especially when, I know now I've got the twi markers to correct any stamping and stuff, but you never know when you might want to add some patterning to something you stamped in black, or, you know, just add some extra detail to things, and you kind of want to know that your alcohol pens aren't going to go anywhere, or that the lines aren't going to go anywhere when you use your alcohol pens over the top, is basically what I'm saying, because water-based pens go well with alcohol pens. They're not going to react with each other and move each other. So I wrote hello earlier so that it's completely dry, and then I'm going to show you it with just fresh from the pen as well. I haven't tested this before, but I just wanted to see if you do it fresh from the pen, will it still stay put or will it move? And actually, because I just remembered about the twi markers and mentioned that, I'm going to get my black twi marker and try it with that one too. Okay, I've got that to try as well. So this is the Fineliner that I drew a little while ago, quite a while ago actually, and you can see how that doesn't bleed at all when you go over it, even with the chisel end, which has got a lot of the alcohol ink in it. And then let's try going hello again. I don't know whether this will smudge or not, but let's give it a go. So, no, that does not smudge either, so that's drawing with it straight away and going straight over with the pen. And then let's try going straight over the twi marker as well. You can see how fine the twi marker is compared to this as well. So the Fineliner is a 0.4, whereas the twi marker, I don't know if it tells you actually, I can't remember, but that must be like a 0.1 or a 0.2. And that stays put as well. So if you already have, or you wanted to get as well to go with any of your alcohol pens that you might already have, or with these ones, both the twi markers and the Arteza Fineliners work absolutely perfectly. Even when you've just drawn them, you can go straight over with the alcohol pen and they don't move at all. So I just wanted to show that as a good point of reference. And then, because I've already done a video on the EverBlend art markers, I decided to, because I've got another set of 60 pens, I decided that I was going to see if my mum would like them, to give them a good home. So I stamped out a few different images and gave her the set. It was like a week ago maybe, and it was very difficult to get the pens back off of her because she loved them so much. So I wanted to show, wanted to share her testimonial that she really enjoyed working with them. She found them much easier to work with than some of the other brands of alcohol pens that she's tried. She doesn't colour with alcohol pens that often, but I've kind of got her into them over the years, like when I get a duplicate set of pens, or she's just decided she wanted to buy some of them. But she found them so easy to work with. She found the lids really easy to get on and off, and she found holding them really nicely, and she's got arthritis in her hands, so it's sometimes it hurts to hold pens for too long, but she said she found them really nice to work with. And like I mentioned in my 60 pen video, the triangular barrel of them, it seems to, because it's a triangle, it doesn't move around in your hand so much, so I found personally that I can get much more control with the chisel end than with other pens that I have, because I can really grip this pen really well and hold it nicely and use the chisel end more precisely as well. And she said that as well. And she also found that blending was really easy, and she really did not want to give the pens back. So now I finally filmed this video, she will be stealing those pens back again, and it's just been Mother's Day, so I'm guessing I can give them to her for a late Mother's Day present. But yeah, at least they'll go to a really good home, and she's definitely going to enjoy using them as well. So, back to these. I stamped out two of the exact same sheet. I gave this one to her, and I gave her the 60 pen set, and I said, have fun and colour in whatever you like. And look how well they've blended. She's done a really good job of getting them all blended. And even mixing colours that might not actually go together as much, but she's managed to get a blend between them. So they're really easy to use. And then I decided to try and use the same colours she had. I don't think I have in some cases, but I tried to use similar colours to hers and try and get a similar kind of look, and from a distance definitely you cannot tell who was a beginner and who's been colouring with alcohol pens for like 8 years or something. So, you know, they're really good pens. You don't have to have been colouring for 8 years to be able to use them. They're really easy to use. And she was just using the 60 pen set. I didn't give her any of the colours out of the 120 pen set. So even just with the 60 pen set, you can still get some brilliant blends, like I said in my other video as well. So, and the only one that she kind of looked like she struggled on was the butterfly, but I think I did say that in my other video. The purples were a little bit tricky to get to blend nicely, but I kind of got them to blend a bit better, and at the end of the video I will show you how I get around blending more difficult colours together, just to, you know, in case you struggle with that as well. I got a couple of tips that I like to use. So I wanted to share that because I thought if there's any new people out there, or people who struggle to hold the pens, like other brands of alcohol pens, or to get the lids on and off, or have arthritis and don't want to invest in pens that would be hard to hold, I just wanted to share that, to know that, you know, I've tried to look into that and test that, you know, they're easy for everybody to use, not just someone who's younger. They're, you know, they're good for all age groups. So that was that bit. Then this was just me. I sat on the sofa a week or so ago and I just had fun and coloured in all these feathers, and I was using the 120 pen set, just playing with all of the different purple tones, some of the new pinky tones, some turquoise and greens, and then using some of the different yellow tones and warm greys and stuff to do that little dotty kind of effect that sort of goes with this woodware feather stamp that I've used here. And all these stamps are Lisa Horton ones from Creative Expressions, just so you know where they're from. And these are woodware ones from Creative Expressions. And you might notice it's got a little bit of iridescent paint on this. If you've already watched the video, or if you haven't, I've also done an up close video on the set of 10 iridescent acrylic paints from Arteza, and that's what I used to accent this after I had coloured it with the EverBlend markers, to just add a little bit of shimmer on there and splat it in the background and stuff. But that was just me experimenting, you know, using some of the new colours from the set as well. Then I thought, well, some people who don't have Copic markers might be thinking, well, I still want Copics because they're supposedly the best on the market. But I decided, because now they've got 120 pens, I decided to colour an image with my favourite Copic colours of markers and then try and match it with these Arteza Everblend art markers. And can you tell which one was which? Like, the addition of the 60 colours that they've added in really gives you that more sophisticated colour scheme, I'd say, with those kind of more a little bit more muted tones, and not like in your face highlighter pink kind of colours. You've got that sort of a more muted toned down colour, and that's what I love about the Copics, is they have all of those different kind of colours in them, but you don't often see it in other brands of markers. But I think Arteza have done a smashing job of their 120 pen set. I kind of wish I got it sooner now. But can you tell which one of those, even if I hold them up a bit closer, can you tell which one was coloured with Copics and which one was coloured with the EverBlend art markers? You can't really tell any difference in the vibrancy of the ink. I mean, a lot of the time, cheaper alcohol pens, they're not as vibrant as Copics. When I got my Copics, I was like, wow, you know, that is why people love them. But you can't even tell a difference here. I think the EverBlend art markers are like just as vibrant, if not more vibrant, than the Copics. So I think they're an amazing alcohol pen, actually. And can you tell which one's which? I can tell because I coloured them. But the one on the left, this one, is Copics. This one is art markers. Which one did you prefer before I told you which one was which? So it's quite funny because I showed them to my mum and she was like, I don't know which one it was. You know, it's actually quite difficult to tell. I only know because the EverBlend Art Markers have a really fine point on them, so I didn't go out the lines at all on this one, whereas Copics have quite a soft brush nib on them, which does take a bit of getting used to, but with small details like around these islands and stuff, I found I was going out the lines more. So that's how I can tell, because there's a little bit down here where I've gone out of the line with the green, but that's how I've been telling them apart. And you can actually also tell the Copics sort of blend through the card more, so I'm not sure whether that's because the brush nib is bigger, so it's holding more ink, so it lets down more ink as you're colouring, compared to the bullet nib of the EverBlend markers. But I don't really see much of a difference in the amount that I've managed to get them to blend. So, I mean, technically you're saving ink if you're using these, because they don't bleed through as much, and you're still getting the blend just by saturating the surface of the card rather than all the way down to the back of the card. So, you know, I really do like these pens. I think they're brilliant. But if I show them really close up, I don't think you can really tell the difference. I think, you know, they're brilliant. And this is the gorgeous pink colour that I'm so glad they've put in this 120 pen set, because this is my favourite pink from the Copic line. And you can see just how similar that is, and even the reds are pretty similar. Maybe the Copic ones are a slightly more orangey red, but having that really fine nib really helps you with smaller images. Sometimes I do find, and I'll show you in a second, with Copic markers, I really struggle with colouring smaller areas and being accurate with like shading and stuff. So, to prove that point about these markers being really good for colouring detail, in the last video, I think I'd showed you some of them in the last video, the little Gorgeous Girl stamps. The previous ones that I had coloured were the kind of larger style stamp, and it must have been maybe even nearly 2 years ago, I brought some more of the Gorgeous Girl stamps from Hobbycraft, and they came and they were tiny, and I was like, oh, I thought they were going to be bigger than that. And I have been putting off stamping them and colouring them because I know I'm going to go out of the lines if I use my Copics. So I haven't coloured them all, but I just did 3 different ones, and look how easy it was to stay inside the lines. I mean, maybe in some places, sorry for my squeaky chair, like on the edge of her dress down here, I've kind of gone out a teeny weeny bit, and maybe a little bit in her hair, but if I had, sorry, there's a dog hair on there, if I had coloured this with Copics, I would have been out of the lines so many times, whereas with these, I've hardly gone out of the lines at all, and that is tiny. Like, if I, whoops, that's a notebook. If I measure the height of her, she's like 7.5 centimetres, whereas, I think, yes, I've got this one here. The other ones that I've had in the past, look at the size difference between them. And this one was coloured with Copics, and I've gone out of the lines in some of the places, even when it was that big. So, going down to this tiny size, I would definitely go out of the lines if I use Copics on them. But with these EverBlends, I don't think I even showed you the nibs in this video, because I've done the other video, but look how fine they are. Really, really fine. So they're perfect for getting into detailed stamped images if you're a card maker and you love colouring in stamped images, but you also have that gorgeous chisel end, which is really useful. I use this a lot. And because of the triangular barrel, you can really grip it to whichever angle you like to hold the chisel. You know, you've got 3 different options of how to hold the chisel because of the triangular barrel as well. You can hold whichever one is most comfiest for you and the angle that you have to hold it to get between or round areas as well as you're colouring. So I just wanted to show, I love these little images, but they're just so tiny. But using these EverBlend markers is just really easy to colour them in without going outside of the lines, but still getting some shading. Like, I've still got shading in her hair and on her hairband, around the collar on her dress and stuff. You can still get that shading, and like in her hair in here, because the tip of them is so fine, and it doesn't actually seem to soften too much over time. I think in the last video I said that I wasn't sure how the nibs would wear over time, because obviously I'd only had them for the few weeks that I'd been playing with them before I did the video, but the last piece that I'll show you is actually a bigger piece that I was colouring, and you know that requires quite a lot of back and forth with the little tiny nib and stuff, or using the chisel as well. And I haven't noticed any like fraying or softening of the nib at all. But if that did happen, you can buy replacements and they're really reasonable. So I think they're definitely a really great marker for us card makers. And I just love that you can get into all that fine detail as well. This was the first one that I coloured because it was the largest of the 3 little, or the 6 little ones that I had brought. So I decided to go on the largest first and then go down a bit smaller. But that bunny rabbit is some of the new the new brown tones, and they're very similar to my favourite browns from the Copic markers as well. So, and I decided to try and show a couple of different hair colours as well. So it's more of a gingery kind of brown, and then a deep sort of brown colour as well. So, as well as that, all of these things that I've shown you already that I've coloured, Arteza don't actually do like a super smooth or, you know, like a white marker colouring cardstock. I kind of wish they'd bring one out to see what it's like, but they don't actually do one. But you can use them on their mixed media paper. It works really nicely. It does have a bit of a texture and it's a creamy kind of colour, but they do work really nicely on it. And if you had watched my, if you've watched my iridescent acrylic paint video that will have gone up previous to this one, you will have seen this journal. And if you saw my twine marker video, you'll have also seen this journal before I decorated it. And this was using the twine markers on this page, but the alcohol pens also work really nicely in this art journal, or this watercolour book as well. And this is on the smooth side of a page, and this was actually using the like a marker spritzer tool with these pens, which I definitely showed that technique in the first video when I looked at the 60 pen set. But you can see just how lovely they work inside this watercolour journal as well. Even though this is designed more for water media and stuff, they do work really nicely. It does bleed through a little bit, but like I showed in my iridescent acrylic paint video, a way of using all of your different jelly prints and stuff that you've done, you could do alcohol marker colouring on one side of the page, and then on the other side add collage elements, so it wouldn't matter that it's bleeding through and stuff. There's always ways around this kind of thing, but I do think they worked really nicely in this book as well. So I just wanted to share that too, in case you have one of these books and you don't just always want to work in watercolour kind of mediums. They work really nicely in here as well. So my final project using these art markers for this video is a kind of piece of artwork that I've been working on. I've wanted to do this for ages, but I went to the Tutankhamun exhibition at the CRaFTi gallery recently, and I've been really inspired to sort of get back into Egyptian kind of stuff, because I really like that. And so I've been working on this picture of Tutankhamun. He looks a little bit funny because I've made him green, but I wanted to show you how I got the image. I kind of cheated because I traced it, but if you don't like drawing, it's such an easy way to start on a piece of artwork. And I knew this was going to take me quite a while to colour, and I wanted to get it finished to be able to show you in the video. So I would have drawn it myself, but I wanted to get it done rather quickly, so I decided to trace it, and I used a book that I brought with loads of different Egyptian designs, and I scanned the image onto a piece of, obviously, printer paper, and then to transfer it onto this, I was using another Arteza product, which is called Graphite Transfer Paper, and it's really easy to use. All you do is you can, well, it has 60 sheets in it, which is going to last you a long, long time, because you can reuse them over and over and over and over again to use every single little area of graphite on there. And basically what you do, so you tape your image to the graphite paper, with the shiny side facing down, then you add your piece of cardstock that you want to work on. So this can be any kind of cardstock. It could even be a canvas, because it's very difficult to kind of draw on a canvas sometimes, or get a liner onto a canvas easily, so that this is such an easy way to do it. So you put your substrate you want to work onto underneath this, and then you go around the image and you just basically draw over it. So depending on how accurate you are at drawing over this will depend on how accurate your final drawing is. So if you, I don't know, if you messed up on one of his ears, that's going to come out as a messed up ear on your final piece, but you can rub it out though as well. And a putty rubber works the best for rubbing out this graphite. But you want to draw over it in a different colour. So I actually used a green biro to do this, and you can see I was off in a few different places. Like, you can see my green line goes off from the actual black line of the image, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it makes it look even more hand-drawn if you've done that. And this doesn't have to be, this could be something you've actually drawn, actually. It doesn't have to be something that you've photocopied or printed off the internet or anything. It could just be an image that you've drawn, but you want to be able to use it multiple times. You could then scan your image so you've still got the original, and use that to draw over. Or you can even do photographs. If you wanted to maybe do some fun piece of artwork like this with a portrait of your pet, you could print off a large picture of them and draw around it in a stylised kind of manner to get a sort of rough portrait of your pet that you could then colour as well. So that is the graphite transfer paper from Arteza. It's really good. It comes in 9x13 sheets, so it's really large size. So if you want to do any proper big pieces of artwork, you can see here, this is an A4 piece of paper, and you've still got, you know, like an inch and a bit over an inch down the bottom. So you could do a really nice larger piece, and you don't have to only use it on something that's this size of this transfer, because you can actually, as long as you keep your design in the same place, you can shift the piece of transfer or the graphite paper underneath it to move it to a different area as well. And once you've finished, you'll have an impression on the graphite paper of like Tutankhamun in this case, but you can keep moving the sheet around and keep using the rest of the graphite for different projects. Or I was attempting, you can't really see it on camera, it didn't work how I wanted it to, but I was attempting to rub as much of the graphite off of the paper as I could to try and give a negative impression of him, because you had the line work sort of missing from the graphite paper. It kind of worked, it didn't really work as much as I wanted it to, but so that kind of thing doesn't work as well as you might think it will. But yeah, I can keep using this piece of paper for loads of different projects as well. So all I'd done was trace that onto a piece of the white 300 GSM white card that I like to use, and then I went through my set of 120 pens, picked out a rainbow. I know Tutankhamun is gold and blue, but I wanted to use a lot of the different pens from the new 120 pen set, and I wanted, I'm going to have this on my wall I think eventually. I haven't quite finished it, but I wanted to have a piece of artwork that I could frame on the wall that would be fun and vibrant and funky, rather than just being blue and gold, so I decided to go with a rainbow kind of look. And so far I have coloured him in alcohol pens, but I am going to maybe add some like Zen Doodle onto it, or just embellish it with some mica-y kind of a product to give it a bit of shimmer and stuff as well. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I wanted to get all the base colouring done. So I picked my rainbow so that I knew how it was going to blend together and stuff as well, and then I started with the red and orange tones and then brought them down the headdress and sort of mixed up, going with red and orange, and then red and a yellowy goldy colour, and then back to the orange with the yellowy goldy colour as well. And then I just went through the rainbow. So I'd used red, orange and yellow here, so I decided to do his whole face green and his shoulders green. He kind of looks a little bit like an alien now, but he's got a gorgeous green face. And then going into the sort of darker green tones, I did his eyeshadow and his eyebrows and his lips in the darker kind of tones, and also used some of that to shade under his chin and stuff. And then I moved on to the blue tone for this really heavily decorated part of his chest. This is his death mask, by the way, as well, if you've never seen it before. It's Tutankhamun's death mask. And then I did 2 strips using the 3 purples that I'd picked out, and then I did the final strip with the bright magenta pink that I'd done. And then to bring the colours back up to the top, rather than having the cobra and stuff in reds and oranges, so it just sort of faded in to his headdress, I decided to bring the blues back up, and then I brought the purples back up into his eyes as well, so his eyes are purple. And I also decided to make his beard match his headdress as well, and bring that down with the red, orange and yellow. So I just thought I'd show you a bigger application of using these pens as well, and all of the nibs are completely fine even after colouring quite big areas, because I mean you wouldn't expect there to be that much wear and tear on your markers if you're colouring images like this all the time, but when you step it up and start colouring big, large A4 kind of images like this, you kind of wonder sometimes if that's going to have an adverse effect on your markers, but I haven't noticed anything with them, so I just wanted to say that as well, because you know, you might want to do some bits of artwork for your walls, and having that graphite paper from Arteza really helps make it a lot more easy. So I mean, you don't have to do anything like from history, you could even do characters from your children's favourite movie or TV show or something, and do it as like a canvas or a framed piece of artwork for their bedroom wall or something. Loads of different things that you can do just to do something a bit different, using your alcohol pens for something a bit different rather than just card making. So, sorry, I just remembered I hadn't showed you how to blend difficult colours. Good job I just remembered that. Anyway, I've got this stamp from Pink Ink Designs, which I've stamped out onto a piece of white card, and the butterfly, was it the butterfly that I showed you before, how to get more of a blend between, I did pinks first and then going into purples. I know that's not a very good colour to show you on my camera because it doesn't really like purple. That is much prettier in person. But purples are one of the hardest colours to blend, so I thought I would show you that as well. And I was just following my mum's lead on that, doing the pink first and going to the 2 purples, so I'll do the same thing for this. So I'm going to colour this flower because I might as well. So I'm going to use the chisel of the pink, which is Bubble Bath Pink. These are all from the 60 pen set as well. I'm just going to colour the whole base of this flower with the bubblegum pink. But you can see how easy it is to use this chisel. You can really flip it around and get it into all of the little nooks and crannies of a stamped design without going over the edges, which is really nice. Okay, so that is the pink down. Now, when you're doing this kind of blending, you kind of want to work with a smaller area so that you can get the colours to blend nicely while they're wet, because if you know alcohol evaporates, it dries quite quickly. So I'm taking the lilac and I'm just going to colour over maybe 3/4 of what I've just coloured pink, but I'm just colouring all the way over the top of that to give that a purple tone, and then I'm going to come back in with the pink and just colour back over where they meet, doing like little circular motions to kind of get it to blend together. You can see how that's kind of blended. And then the darkest colour is violet, and if you where have I got a scrap piece here? If you look at these 2 colours, I'll show you with the chisel, they are really different. And that's really difficult to blend 2 colours that are that different. But there are ways of trying to get a better blend. So what I like to do is sort of try and use flicky motions. I know it's not entirely possible because it's a solid nib on these, it's not very flexible, but try and do that which now looks terrible. But if you colour over that transition again between the lighter colour and this darker colour, I just go in like circular kind of motions, you're starting to blend out, and it already looks a better blend between them. But to make that an even better blend, I'm going to have to zoom out, I take the chisel nib and colour onto my glass cutting mat, or you can use a piece of acetate as well if you want to, but I always work on my glass mat so it's easy. And then you take the fine nib of the lighter purple and just colour into that to pick up the colour into the nib, and then do that circular motion again, and you're kind of just building like an intermediate colour that will really help give a really nice blended look to a transition between two colours that are quite difficult to blend. And then if you look at that now, it looks a lot better. I mean, let me do it again on this one but without blending it and show you the difference. So doing the exact same thing as I just did, but I'm not bothering about blending anything. You can see it makes so much more of a difference if you just go back with the lighter colour and blend it. So let's blend both of these edges and I'll show you the difference then. Oh, I'm using the wrong colour, aren't I? I'm supposed to use the pink for that. And then the light purple on this edge. Okay, so that's looking a smidgen better because I've blended back over with the lighter purple, but it's still not quite as blended as that petal there. So if I go back in with the light purple and pick up some of this, you got a much better blend in that petal now. I'm sorry my camera doesn't like purples, but you can really see it going from the deep to the light, but it's not a harsh transition, it's actually sort of smoothly blending out from one to the other. So I hope that little top tip helped you, and I'll slot this little bit of footage somewhere into the video and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. So I hope you enjoyed this up close video looking at the 120 pen set of the Arteza Everblend Art Markers. Don't forget that if you're interested in these pens or the graphite paper or any other Arteza products, you can use my affiliate links below the video along with the discount code CRaFTi Potential 4 to get 10% off of your order, and that's valid until the 30th of April 2020. And don't forget to go and enter the competition on the Arteza YouTube channel as well. I'll leave a link for the video telling you all about that as well. So thank you so much for watching. I am sure this video got way longer than I was expecting it to, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again in the next video. Take care. Bye.